Hey everybody, welcome to Yays and Booze. This edition we are talking about, obviously, Raw from last night. We have a lot to go over. But before we do, please make sure you subscribe, leave likes, leave your comments, hype up the video if you're on mobile, leave your likes, check out my new song on Spotify under Raspy Taylor. What else? I have a Patreon, watching a bunch of matches over there, a lot of Japanese history, a lot of 80s, 90s, early 2000s stuff. No shot. No way! Holy shit! It's a good time. Check it out. All right, with that said, let's dive right in. Stop wasting time. First one says, Dominic Mysterio's IC reign has given him so much credibility, it isn't out of the realm of possibility that he could challenge for the world title with how entertaining his cheating to win has been. We're starting out with a massive yay. I don't remember the last time we started with a boo, to be honest. But yeah, man, Dominic Mysterio has been killing it. The IC title run has been very refreshing, very fun. I like the matches he's been having, kind of building this world with Penta and Rusev. I think eventually, pretty soon, we're going to get the triple threat between the two for the IC title. Does Dom still retain? I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully. Honestly, hopefully. I'm really enjoying the lack of interference. While, yes, he is still cheating and, you know, whatever, being a heel. But, like, at least it's heel wrestling and it's like, it's a clean heel cheat to win victory a la Eddie Guerrero, which is who he's been, like, you know, replicating and his whole character is paying an homage to, right? It just makes sense to start diving into the Eddie Guerrero mannerisms that, or not mannerisms, I guess tactics is the better word, that made him so famous and was a big part of his character. Distracting the ref, hiding the title, hiding the bell hammer, kicking Rusev in the nuts. It's all been great. I don't know. I don't want to see Dom lose the title anytime soon. He's been fantastic. And to your second point of him challenging for a world title, he was the second one in that Battle Royal, one more left. And also, speaking of cheating, he rolled back in because the referee was distracted. Great, love that. I'm wearing my Dominic Mysterio shirt right now. If it wasn't LA Knight winning the Battle Royal, well, I mean, it ended up being JEY USO. It wasn't LA Knight, but the second or third place would have gone to Dominic Mysterio. I think it would have been awesome. Did he need to win the world title necessarily right now? No. It would have been cool. I talk about all the time how WWE is just so scared. They're so scared to do anything, huh? Just do something. Do something new. We're talking about it later. But yeah, we're starting with a yay here. Speaking of other winners for the Battle Royal, this says, I was cheering for Jimmy Uso to win a match for the first time in his life. Again, I'm giving him a yay, or I'm giving this a yay, excuse me. And I guess Jimmy Uso a yay, for sure, whatever. It still would have been a more compelling story than JEY USO winning it, because then, like, you know, they are using this as an opportunity to play into more of the Jay and Jimmy story, and Jay is sliding into that heel tribal chief era, and Jimmy's kind of on the sideline wary. Jimmy also said, like, hey, when we're out in that Battle Royal, like, every man for himself. It would have been a refreshing matchup of Jimmy versus Punk. Then I guess you can go into the feud. I saw someone on Reddit being like, they're going to do another Jimmy versus Jay match. I was like, probably, but hopefully it's better than the WrestleMania match. But if Jimmy won here, you could have played into the story of, like, Jay descending into more madness and not rooting for his brother. And I don't know, there's a lot more story to tell if Jimmy ends up, like, shockingly winning over Jay. Maybe Jimmy is the one to throw JEY USO over the rope and be like, hey, like, you know, I told you backstage, I said it's everyone for all or whatever. Now, there was some storytelling with Jay, you know, dumping Jimmy over, and they had the look, and we're gonna get some more storytelling. Sorry, I almost had a panic attack. Didn't think the camera was recording. There is gonna be more story being told in the next couple of weeks, but yeah, a Jimmy win would have been cool. And I feel like they've been so hot and cold on Jim, and then for a while we were like, oh, now it's Jim's turn. And then I don't know, but you know, we're on the same page there. Again, speaking about the Battle Royal, this says, LA Knight should have won the Battle Royal. They didn't have to sacrifice for him for more Jay and Jimmy lore when he could have got the same or maybe even better story progression without making LA Knight look weak. Again, I fully agree. This is getting a yay. LA Knight probably should have been the one to win this match. I mean, Braun Breaker should have been in this match and, you know, won this match, but we're going to talk about that later also. But LA Knight and Punk have recent history, and they're kind of still telling a story, and they could have really, I don't know, fully fledged out a story with Punk and LA Knight. Now, again, like, LA Knight doesn't need to win the title. You can still have Punk winning the title over LA Knight, but, like, it would have helped LA Knight tremendously to solidify him in this main event spot. He's kind of just been, like, on the outside, you know, he's been kind of cucked a little bit of this main event world title scene picture for a while now. This win was an easy opportunity to get Punk versus LA Knight. They were kind of butting heads in each other's faces for a while. You get the big match. Punk still wins the world title, and you can say that LA Knight was in a world title match, the Saturday Night's main event. Great, whoopee. I don't think it made LA Knight look too weak, right? He was with Jimmy, right? Did Jay dump over Jimmy and LA Knight? I forget, but I think that was LA Knight. I don't know. It is a battle royal. I don't think getting tossed out of a battle royal makes you look too weak, I guess. I mean, we did see like the brand new tag team champs. We're gonna talk about that later too. But yeah, I agree. It should have been LA Knight. As someone who's not even, you know me on the podcast, I'm not even a big LA Knight supporter. I'm not one of these crazed LA Knight fans, but even I can see that, like, hey, that was LA Knights to win. Dragon Lee is the best luchador signed with WWE right now. I'm so happy he's getting his due. I agree with that latter half. I think Dragon Lee is great. I think he is one of the best luchadors in the WWE right now. But I mean, honestly, he's like fourth to me. Ray's sideline. We won't count Ray. I'm going Penta and Ray Phoenix over Dragon Lee. And then there's an argument, maybe not just like strictly in ring, but if we're talking overall wrestlers, I think Dominic Mysterio is over Dragon Lee. So I'd put Dragon Lee at like fourth. Is that crazy to say? So strictly for that, I do technically have to give this a boo because I do disagree, but I am also over the moon happy that Dragon Lee has kind of found his footing, and I'm glad he's still with the company and still here. He's a fantastic wrestler, but someone who's kind of, struggled to find his footing, and then now is partnered with AJ, the team of AJ Lee. That's great. I hope they make fun of that. I think that's so funny. And Dragon Lee has championship gold in 2025. That rocks. So doesn't AJ Styles, and he's paired with AJ Styles. Cool. Love it. Shout out Dragon Lee. Jay winning the title is bound to happen, and it's the wrong choice right now. Okay, I'm giving this a boo. I do not think Jay is a shoe-in or bound to win. I honestly think, if you're looking at it, I would bet that CM Punk is way more the favorable one to win. Favorable in terms of the audience, and also, I would say, betting odds. Now, granted, it does make this match a little more unpredictable. I could see WWE leaning into their, call it lazy, call it just, I don't know, not creative, that might be the same thing, way of doing things lately, and just put the title back on Jay. I had this discussion on the podcast, whether it's coming out today or tomorrow, of is CM Punk winning the world title right now? If CM Punk wins the world title after all this time, since debuting for Survivor Series, people have been clamoring to get this world title win. When he finally won it, he got cashed in on. The audience has been waiting for years at this point. Is it really that climactic if he wins it at Saturday Night's Main Event against Jay? So I could see them wanting to hold off on the CM Punk win, maybe tease the audience more, edge them even more, if that's even possible. Jey Uso win, people aren't going to be happy, the internet's going to explode, and I don't know, I see them being able to do it if Jay does the heel turn and goes full tribal chief, maybe turns on Jimmy. Jimmy could also get involved in the match somehow, maybe cost Jay, that gets CM Punk the win. But I don't know, I think, especially with looking at, a Jimmy or Bloodline or MFT or Roman Reigns stuff that could be involved with Jay, and also just CM Punk being CM Punk, and who I'd imagine was going to be the next one to win the world title off of Seth Rollins, maybe. I honestly think WWE would look to CM Punk right now more favorable to get the title over Jay. Again, that's if they want to pull the trigger on Punk now, which again, I could fully see them wanting to wait until Seth Rollins is cleared and can come back, or they put the title on Braun Breaker. I don't know. It's interesting. With Judgment Day losing the tag team titles, I think they should put the IC title on Roxanne, especially if she steals Dom from Liv. Judgment Day is currently, well, I guess outside of Dom's a double champ. No one else has titles. I guess in the general scheme of things, I would love to see Roxanne as the IC champion. Like she was in that mix, in that pool for a while. I think she'd be great at it. I am kind of over the her and Raquel team. Like I am kind of just excited for Liv to come back, and you can kind of finally dive into some like Roxanne and Liv stuff. You said also, if Roxanne steals Dom from Liv, they can both have the IC title, be the IC title champion couple. Ooh, that's cool. I mean, you can do that same thing with Liv and Dom, but like Roxanne and Dom running with the IC titles in Judgment Day, that's kind of cool. Kind of writes itself. But I haven't given this a yay or a boo yet. I guess like in the general scheme of things, I'm going to give this a yay, like for everything I just said. But if you're looking really specifically at the women's IC title between Becky and Maxine, I hope Maxine gets that third match. I don't think there's a yay and boo here. I talked ad nauseum. I'm learning which one the correct phrase is. I'm not sure. Also, hone in. Do you know hone in is actually like home in? Like when you say like, I'm going to hone in on this. It's actually, I'm going to home in on this, but like language has kind of changed. People say hone. I don't know. I saw someone post that on a story, and I don't know. Anyway, back to the point. I don't think the women's IC title is close enough to Roxanne right now. I think there's a couple steps to get it back into the Roxanne, circle of things. But I would rather see right now Maxine win it. I think that'd be great. Also, AJ Lee. AJ Lee is very next in line. I'm speculating at this point that Maxine Dupree might unfortunately be a transitional champion. Don't know. But again, we don't know when Liv's coming back. So like, by the time Liv comes back, there could have been multiple new women's IC champs. And I think Roxy does deserve it. And she is a picture perfect women's IC champion. But just looking at where we are with Becky, Maxine, and AJ Lee, that's a cool 3. Who would have thought, huh? Who would have thought? Yeah, I just think Roxanne's a little bit further down the line. But all right, next one. WWE failed to capitalize on the momentum Braun had last week. They kept him away from the title opportunity and had a whole segment telling the audience, quote, patience when he's ready right now. I fully agree. Now, I tried to make this and the podcast like different because like they are different, but you had it. WWE, they're so scared of doing anything, trying something new, putting the title on someone. I don't understand it, man. You had it. There were images floating around of Braun Breaker, like with that cool West Side Gun looking photo of him holding the world title. It makes so much sense with the story of Paul Heyman choosing Braun Breaker. It's like the whole time it was Braun Breaker, and this is our plan all along, and it just got accelerated, and blah, blah, blah. Why wouldn't you at minimum put this guy in the Battle Royal match? Have him go against Punk. If he loses, then fine, he lost. But like I do agree. This was the moment. This is getting a yay. I don't know if I said that. This is getting a yay. This was the moment to put this on Braun Breaker, shoot him up into the stars. Seth Rollins at this point, like I think his whole thing with the vision outside of kayfabe is he was gonna, put a spotlight on a Braun Breaker. Now that he's injured, he can still kind of do that, and they're just not capitalizing on it. I don't know. It sucks. Again, I talk about all the time where it's like, I don't know why they don't want to like pull the trigger on these young guys. Like they're doing a solid job with Dom, with the IC run and the AAA championship. I would love Dom to be close to that world title picture. When you have a guy that's that over, like why? I don't know what we're doing. But Braun Breaker is an even better example where he's, that much more capable in the ring. I think that much more of a star for the world title scene right now. It would have been so cool to give an accolade to a young guy and, oh, he's a young world champion. He's the hottest thing right now. Then you're building a new face. You're building a brand new star, which all these old guys are starting to retire. AJ Styles is leaving. John Cena, like all these guys are getting old. You need to build new stars. What better way to build a new star than capitalize on Braun Breaker momentum and put the world title on him? That's going to be the biggest news this whole month if Braun Breaker wins the world title. And I do agree. They whatever. I'm bummed out. And again, I don't know if it's me being a wrestling fan that's bummed out because like my favorite is out of the match and whatever, one of my favorites out of the match, or if I'm bummed out being the guy on a microphone on the internet being like, they should have booked this differently, and they should have, I don't know, I think it's a mix of both. Real Talk just let, quote, Dragon Club, trademark pending, I like that, do a tag title open challenge for a few weeks. The division desperately needs a breath of fresh air. I'm tired of these titles just not being defended for months at a time. Fully agree, this is getting a yay. Commentary was almost bragging about like, the Judgment Day have had them for 100 and something days, and they've only defended it twice. Isn't that cool, everyone? Isn't that sweet? Like, no, that fucking sucks. They should be defending the title. Why are we glamorizing that? But sure, I would love it. Also would get teams on Raw. Like, I can't really think, like, what? On Raw, we have New Day, Usos hate each other again, and then War Raiders, which I don't know where Eric is because Ivar was in the match, so I don't know where Eric is. Jimmy made this point in the podcast where bring some SmackDown tag teams over. Bring Morrissey Machine Guns, Street Profits, DIY, whoever else. Get Penta and Rey Fenix in the mix. I don't know if they're going to go to Lucha Brothers yet this year. I doubt it at this point. But yeah, I love this. If there's any two that can put a spotlight and a, boost of adrenaline in the tag team division on Raw, it's AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, for sure. Also, to your name, I said it earlier, I do like Dragon Club, though. Now I'm saying it out loud, Dragon Club kind of rocks. I do love Team AJ Lee, though. Me personally, I don't know. All right, last one of the day here says, I'd be pissed spending that much money to watch the show, then get the same talent I just watched in the Battle Royal when there were so many not on TV that crowd would have loved to see, or not even a comeback or call out. Did I read that wrong? I'm not sure what I read. Felt like WWE just doing everything twice these days, then Jay wins. What's the stench? Yeah, this is getting a yay. That was my first thought when I saw the graphic. I was like, hey, half these guys already wrestled tonight. Like, even like kayfabe-wise, like, Dragon Lee, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough just had a really great and compelling and athletic and competitive world tag team title match. Two of them just lost their tag team titles. There's new champs. Like, that should mean they went through a grueling and punishment filled match, they shouldn't be ready and raring to go in a battle royal and able to toss people over. So I think they should have been, their stamina should have been too low for that, you know? A lot of people pulling double duty. I hope that means a lot of people got double paychecks, at least, you know, on the bright side of things. And you're right, the WWE roster is so deep nowadays that you really have to put like half the battle royal or people we already seen on the show. I don't know. I agree. I thought that was very weird. I guess it's not much deeper than that, or just like, yeah, I also saw that and like thought that was kind of dumb. And why not get new faces? And, you know, I don't know. Every single El Grande could have been there. And they could have put 4 or 5 El Grandes in there, and that still would have been refreshing. I know, shocking coming from me. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this week's Yays and Boos. Please leave some comments on what you agreed with, what you disagree with, what are some hot takes that we didn't cover in this episode. Check out my Patreon for match watch-alongs, and I don't know, subscribe, follow me on everything in the description, and have a good rest of your Tuesday, folks. I'll see you next time. Thank you for being here. Peace.